This is the first time I really took my Kit690 equipped 2014 690 out and rode roadbooks with it. So this is the first time I've tried to ride this bike at race pace. It's 3 or 4 iterations into valve. You got a lot of the ergonomics kind of close to right, still need a taller seat. Really learning the bike still. That is the rev limiter as I'm going down the straightaway. This bike only revs to 8 grand. That's just how these 690s are. They do not rev. That's something that I struggle with getting used to. The gearing is very odd. 1st through 4th is spaced out quite a bit, and then 5th and 6th are right on top of each other and 4th. So you end up with this really unpredictable gap, especially if you're going between like 3rd, 4th, 5th, or crossing that border between the close gears and the widely spaced gears. If you're doing that frequently, it's really kind of unpredictable because you don't count what gear you're in. You just know, oh, I'm going into this corner, I need to go down a couple of gears. Well, if you're in the narrow gears, you don't go down enough gears. And if you're in the gears that are too wide, I've mechanically over-revved it once pretty good because I kicked it down an extra gear. So still learning that. Sometimes going through stuff like what you see now, these HP sections where they're just bushes and like it throws the bike around. Bike weighs with the Kit690 kit, I think it's 376 pounds full of gas, and I have modified the Kit690 setup pretty extensively. I used their stuff as a model and then made it more race oriented. Go ahead. Yeah, get out of here. Brad getting it on the throttle. Oh, that really does look disgusting. You can see my buddy here learning about the water in the desert and this bentonite clay stuff. Took us a minute to get that bike out of there. I think anyone who's been out here doing this has been through that. That's one of the reasons it is always good to be riding with someone to help you pull your bike out.
You know, I was riding up this and I was like, this doesn't look good.
So I've also, my history with rally raid stuff is primarily on 450s. I had an FC 450 and then an FX 450 Husky that I put 6 gear in, and I blew the first bike up at Sonora. The second bike's still going strong, but I'm so into this that I don't know, I can't afford an RFR, right? I missed it. 27, right there. I know better. Stop having fun. I talk to myself in my helmet a lot. Less when I get tired, right? But I still do it a lot. I can't afford a 450 RFR. Not right now, it's just a fact of the matter. But the 690 is fairly close to the old generation, a couple generations ago, the factory RFR. So that's why the Kit690 stuff works, right? You can take the factory KTM tanks and make them work pretty darn well on the 690 frame with a few modifications. So this bike popped up for sale that already had the Kit690 kit on it. It was used as like kind of the ultimate lightweight adventure dual sport bike. That's what it was built for. And then so I bought it and then in turn have made it into a race bike. So this is MX Tech Lucky Carbon R's and forks, and it's converted over to the more standard triple clamps and standard fork offsets. The shock is a stock shock that's been stretched out in 300 mil travel. So, and some stuff I'm still testing in the linkage that's custom to try to make it more dirt bike-like. There are quite a few inherent limitations of this platform with the stock suspension, but there are workarounds. I'm still trying to get them truly dialed in for me. The reason that I switched from the lightweight 450 platform that's really like 280 pounds probably ready to rally, this thing's 80 pounds more than that. Granted, it does hold twice as much fuel. The reason that I switched is for an all-day event where you're on the bike for I mean, it can be 8, 10, 12 hours a day. 450's not a big bike. I'm 6'3". I just don't fit on it that well. So it's great for doing GNCC races and stuff like that where you're on the bike for a couple hours, 3 hours. But when you're on the bike for long days, for 5 days at a time or more, I need a little bit more comfort, and I want to be more comfortable standing because standing is your safety net. So I race a 990. I measured that and tried to find some platforms that maybe I could make match the 990, knowing that that's the perfect geometry for me. I'm super comfortable on that bike doing stuff like the Mint 400 where you're on it for 3-4 hours. Right here. That gear spacing is terrible. You just heard me hammer down too many gears because of the gear spacing. The 450 is 17 inches horizontally between the bars and the pegs, and I have the same bars on the 690 that I run on the 450. And it's 21 inches. The 990 is 22 inches in that dimension. So even though the bike, in terms of wheelbase, isn't that much longer than a 450, the peg to bars position means that I can stand up much better. Big old piston bumping up and down. KTM did their homework with the fairings, right? It's a fairly big windshield, especially compared to what's on my 450 Rally Light setup. And it really prevents your chest from feeling like a sail in the wind. Suspension, I'm on my maybe fourth iteration of revalving. That will continue to be developed. There's some shortcomings of the stock shock that I'm trying to find a workaround for. But overall, it's working okay. I don't know about the durability of some of the stuff yet. After doing several days of Roadbooks, the suspension has bound up somehow. Actually, both the forks and the shock have, and then I tore my ACL and haven't had time to take it all apart and figure out what happened yet. But that's something I need to look into and make sure that it's got the durability that it needs, and then kind of keep fine-tuning it. It's good. It's fairly consistent, but there is room for improvement, both in comfort and for, like, if you're really hucking it off of something and giving you that stability that you want to know that it's gonna go straight, or it's gonna do what you want. I've got some ideas to make that better. So development continues, but super stoked that it's going as well as it has been. It may get a 450 engine. That's kind of a big question mark. We'll see. That would drop weight quite a bit, and you'd only lose, maybe 5, maybe 10 horsepower in the process. And I would have a better transmission also. So, and that higher rev limit. So we'll see. More to come.